Hey everyone, it's Alexander, the real Mr. Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for Lightyear, which is the latest film from Pixar and their first theatrical release since Onward in 2020. And it's based off a pre-existing property. That being said, this movie is not a continuation of the Toy Story movies. It doesn't follow the same Buzz Lightyear, voiced by Tim Allen, that we all know and love. No, this movie is a movie set within the Toy Story universe. It's the movie that Andy saw that made him want to get a Buzz Lightyear action figure. Essentially, this is his Star Wars. And the movie follows a space ranger named Buzz Lightyear, voiced by Chris Evans, as he and his commanding officer slash best friend are testing out a new hyperspace fuel after their ship gets marooned on a planet. Buzz is the test pilot, but unfortunately, because of these constant tests, he keeps going forward in time to the point where he is about nearly 80 years, I believe, in the future. And when Buzz eventually reaches his final destination, he notices that there's this giant spaceship in the sky, and he teams up with a bunch of rookies to try to stop it. One of these rookies happens to be Alicia Hawthorne's granddaughter, Izzy. I gotta be honest, I didn't quite understand the backlash surrounding this movie, and everything I've heard as an argument against this movie sounded pretty ridiculous. Some of the arguments I've heard were, oh, it's a disgrace to the Toy Story legacy. I'm like, we've already had a Buzz Lightyear spin-off in the early 2000s, Buzz Lightyear Star Command, so why are people complaining about this one right now? Because I always thought that this was a clever idea, and out of all the potential characters to make a spin-off out of, Buzz Lightyear was probably the most logical one. And again, they didn't make a spin-off of the toy, they made an original Buzz Lightyear story. And because of the show and so much lore that Pixar has established with this character, why not? So that bit of criticism before the movie came out always confused me, but at least it has a little more logic than, oh, I'm not going to see this movie because Tim Allen isn't voicing Buzz Lightyear. And I'm like, to modify a quote from Woody in the original Toy Story, this Buzz Lightyear right here is not a toy! That is probably the dumbest excuse I've heard for people not being excited for this movie. And I don't know, maybe I was in the minority with this movie in being excited for it, because while it's definitely a spin-off, and I think Pixar works better with original concepts, I already listed out my reasons why this could work. It looked fun. Chris Evans felt like a perfect Buzz Lightyear. And it's also noteworthy as being the very first animated movie to open up aspect ratios when presented in IMAX. So that was groundbreaking in its own right, and I was just really looking forward to this. And all the things that I was hopeful about with this movie mostly came true. But then there's some other aspects of the film that left me very confused and disappointed. Let me delve into the positives first, because I like this movie more than I didn't. First off, Buzz Lightyear. Chris Evans does a great job voicing this particular incarnation of Buzz. And obviously, this is a different version of that character. We have the toy version voiced by Tim Allen. We had the animated version voiced by Patrick Warburton, who did a really good job. So we've got a new version right here. And Chris Evans' voice just fits so perfectly with Buzz's mannerisms. There are moments where you really can't help but think back to Captain America, mainly with a lot of Buzz's speeches, and the fact that Buzz Lightyear goes forward into the future and is not aging at all. So that's one aspect that's definitely unoriginal, and I'm pretty sure they had this movie well planned before they even got Chris Evans. So I'm willing to bet it was more of a coincidence that Buzz in this movie kind of mirrors aspects about Captain America. But at the end of the day, he still does a really good job. And if there was any actor out there who would be a perfect fit for a new incarnation of Buzz, it would have been Chris Evans. I also love Socks. He's just adorable. He gets the biggest laughs of the movie, and he's just an all-around great Pixar sidekick. When I first saw the trailers for this movie, as much as I was looking forward to it, I always found Socks to be a little creepy. Like that moment when Buzz is about to go to bed and Socks is just staring at him with eyes wide open. And at the time, I thought it would be a really funny prank to buy a Socks toy, just leave it right next to someone's bed so they can just flip out over this stuffed robot cat staring you down. But no, when you watch the movie, Socks is adorable. His jokes are funny, and he's also effective. He's not just there for the cute visual gags, he's an effective sidekick, and I really could have watched a whole movie with Socks and Buzz together. Like, that would just be a perfect movie right there. Then you have Uzo Aduba and Keke Palmer as the Hawthorns, Alicia and Izzy respectively. Alicia Hawthorne is mostly at the beginning of the movie, but I thought that she and Buzz had a really good dynamic. I like their friendship as the movie progresses, and there are points where it does get a little sad. I'm not gonna go into full detail of what makes it sad, but I mean, if you've seen the MCU movies, you might be able to get an aspect of what that sad aspect is, except it's not in a romantic light. I felt like these two characters worked well together. As for Izzy, I actually really liked her story, how she had always heard about Buzz from her grandma, how she's a rookie in training, not really in the Space Ranger program. I won't go into full context for the sake of not spoiling the movie, but I like how she's not really her grandmother, and she has a lot of fears that she has to conquer. And throughout this whole movie, I thought she really did work well. Much like with Alicia, her dynamic with Buzz, I thought was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I wish I could say the same about the rest of the characters in this crew, but I'm not going to get into the negatives quite yet. The last real positive I have to say about this movie is that it looks incredible. The visuals are outstanding, the animation is just absolutely gorgeous. It's so weird watching the original Toy Story and then fast forwarding to this, just seeing the difference. I mean, I know this is a different version of Buzz Lightyear, and technology has certainly evolved over the 27 years in between those movies, but it's just still incredible to watch. And the IMAX sequences are just jaw-dropping. If you have an opportunity to see this at a true IMAX screen, please do so. I know financially this movie is taking a beating from that dinosaur film about giant bugs, but I think this is a movie that is worth seeing in IMAX more than Jurassic World Dominion, because the aspect ratio does open up to 1:43, and it's the first animated film to ever do that. And the way the aspect ratio opens up during these sequences is probably the best I've seen in years. So there's really a lot to like about this movie, and more than I think people are giving it credit for. But I'd be lying if I said that this was a perfect movie, because there are certainly some flaws. As much as I enjoyed Buzz, Alicia, Izzy, and Socks, the other two characters in this crew don't really work. Dale Soules and Taika Waititi voice the other two rookies, and I just really didn't find them all that interesting or even really all that funny, especially when it came to Taika Waititi. If you've seen my review for Free Guy, I said that Taika Waititi seems to do better as a comedy actor when he's in movies that he himself directs, like Hunt for the Wilderpeople or Thor Ragnarok, or Jojo Rabbit when he played imaginary Hitler. But in any other movie, he just seems to fall flat. It doesn't seem like other directors really know how to use him as an actor. I know he's there for comic relief, but you already have Socks, who's a really great comic relief, and he's effective. Taika Waititi's character in this movie is just more of a goofball. And yes, he does learn how to be more competent as he goes along, but there's just a point where you're like, yeah, I'm not a fan of this character at all. And as for Dale Soules' character, there's not much to her outside of a cranky old troublemaker who's on parole. Then we get to the villain of the movie, the evil Emperor Zerg. I can't really say anything without spoiling the movie, but I will say that when we really get into Zerg and why he's doing the things that he's doing, it made me confused. There's a vital scene in this movie that when it happens, I just went, So I just really wasn't a fan of what they did with Zerg. So if they ever make any future movies, which I honestly hope they do, I'm curious to see what they're going to do as a follow-up. The last major criticism I have with this movie is that there's way too much nostalgia baiting. There's several lines that Buzz utters that are ripped from the original Toy Story, and even Toy Story 2, like, "You're mocking me, aren't you?" Or, "Buzz Lightyear to Star Command, come in Star Command, do you read me?" Why don't they answer? I get the context that those lines would feed into the toy, but these are lines that when the toy comes to life, he utters. It's not pre-recorded stuff in the actual toy itself taken from the movie. Now, to Infinity and Beyond, it makes sense for him to say that several times because that is Buzz Lightyear's catchphrase. You can't have a Buzz Lightyear movie of any kind if he didn't say that. And I didn't even mind the origin of that catchphrase. Did we need an origin for it? Not really, but the catchphrase is there, and it would be like having a Star Trek movie without any of the characters saying something like, "I'm giving her all she's got, Captain," or "Damn it, man, I'm a doctor, not a physicist." So to Infinity and Beyond, I didn't mind, but all the other voice lines just felt really forced. And I always thought Pixar was more clever than this. I felt like they were smart enough to avoid nostalgia baiting, but oh well, it had to happen at some point. Overall, I found Lightyear to be a lot of fun, and definitely had some great moments, but there's some disappointments scattered throughout as well. It's one of Pixar's lesser movies, which again is really weird to say knowing how near perfection their catalog is. I said the same thing with Turning Red, although I gotta say I like Turning Red a lot better than this, because what that movie has that this one doesn't is imagination. Turning Red, when you watch that movie, whether you love it or hate it, it's inspired, there's originality going into it. There was a clear passion for that movie being made. I'm sure there was a lot of passion put into this movie because the director of this film, Angus MacLane, is known for being the expert when it comes to Buzz Lightyear, so I feel like it made sense for him to direct this movie, but overall, it just felt very safe. There was nothing about it that really surprised me. There's nothing grand about it. There's nothing about it that really hit me on an emotional level. Even though there are scenes that try that, it doesn't come anywhere close to movies like Up or Toy Story 3, or even the fourth Toy Story. And also, maybe this is a nitpick, but I think this is one of Michael Giacchino's lesser scores. There's no real memorable theme in this movie. There's nothing that really pops in terms of his score. And I felt like there were points where he was trying to copy Randy Newman's score in the Toy Story films. Honestly, I would have liked it if his score was more like the music he did for Space Mountain at Disneyland, because that is just a fantastic piece of music that he wrote for that ride. And I think this movie kind of fits that Space Mountain vibe. But, I mean, that's just me. Overall, I'd say the movie is good, but not great. I really hope this movie does better. Either it continues to stick around and make money, which during the summer, that's highly unlikely. But I hope it becomes a big hit on streaming. If the people who don't see this in theaters end up watching it on streaming and make it a hit there, then hopefully there's potential to do more, because I think there's a really great concept with making Buzz Lightyear movies that are not connected to Toy Story. It's just if they make sequels, they need to be better and more inspired than this. So still good, just not all that great. And there you go, that's my review for Lightyear. I hope you enjoyed it, and now I want to know what you guys think about the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below, and until next time, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there is only one. Hello everyone, I just want to say thank you all for watching my review for Lightyear. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, go check out my Twitch channel, and support me on Patreon. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day, and take care of yourselves.